Hello everyone, it's Annabella here. First of all, Happy Lunar New Year. This is probably the last purchase reading for me before I head off to my vacation. Today's reading is for Yanzu and Lisen. I've done a reading for them before, but since their drama came out recently, and it's been about a year since the last one, I guess it'd be a great time to revisit their energy again now. A big thank you to the purchaser of this reading for generously sharing it with everyone to enjoy. As always, keep in mind that this is just a celebrity reading, so take it with a grain of salt. Now, let's get started. The first spread is about their mutual energy, and the first card we have is the Seven of Swords. It's so interesting because I believe this same card came up the last time I read for them. Back then, I felt there were some frictions between them, and I still sense that their relationship isn't all butterflies and rainbows. This card gives me the impression that their connection is more rational than it might seem. They come across as very professional in how they interact with each other, fully aware of their roles and what they're doing together. When they're working, they stay focused on the task at hand and make sure to do a good job. But once the work is done, they take their swords, symbolizing their thoughts and emotions, and carry them home separately. Let's dive into the other cards to explore this dynamic further and see where it takes us. The next card is the Chariot. Whenever I see this card, I often think of short-term bursts of energy or explosions. I picture someone riding a chariot, rushing from one destination to another, making a big impact in each place before moving on. When it comes to their relationship, that's exactly how I feel it is. They come together, create something impactful, almost like an explosion, and then head off in their own direction afterward. But every time they meet, they're clear on what they're doing and why they're there together. That's why all of their work turns out so great. It's just how their energy aligns. Next, we have the Eight of Cups. Interestingly, I remember this card showing up in their spread last time too. It feels like this card perfectly aligns with the Chariot's energy. Right now, it seems like they're in a phase where they know they'll be splitting off again to focus on different projects. That's exactly what the Eight of Cups represents. A moment where someone decides to walk away and move toward something else. Since the cards are so similar to the ones from last time, I feel like this might just be how they naturally work together. They keep everything very professional and are clear about their roles. But beyond that, I feel like they remain independent and aren't heavily influenced by the other person. Next, we have the Ace of Wands. This card can speak to the chemistry they have when working together. The Ace of Wands is all about action. It suggests that despite everything else, they can really connect and work well together. Even if their minds aren't always in sync, their bodies or their energy seems to align when they're working. But since we're looking at the cards in order, it feels like it continues the story from the Chariot. After moving from place to place, they're now heading in a new direction as indicated by the Eight of Cups. The Ace of Wands shows that this new direction represents a fresh start, a new project, a new passion, a new journey with a different phase and different experiences ahead. The last card we have for their mutual connection is the Page of Swords. If you remember, or if you go back and watch the first video I did for them, this card feels connected to their initial card, which was the Five of Wands. The Page of Swords can indicate being vigilant, guarded, or even bickering. I don't follow them closely, so I'm not sure exactly how they are with each other, but I do feel like these two clash a lot. They bicker, and while there's definitely chemistry between them, it feels like their old comrades who had enough of each other. Once the work is done, they're ready to move on, not needing to hang out any longer. They can still be friends, of course, but their dynamic feels like a bickering duel, if you know what I mean. That's the main energy I pick up from them. Now, let's dive into each of their specific feelings for one another to get a clearer picture of this connection. Let's start by taking a look at Yanzu's feelings towards Xian. Let's see what the cards have to say. The first card we have here is strength. Let's take a moment to break it down. The way Yanzu feels towards Xian is represented by strength, which suggests that she has a lot of compassion for him. She's trying to understand him and be patient with him. If we look at the relationship between the tamer and the lion is a wild beast. And in the tamer's heart, the lion will always remain that way. There's never going to be a deep, unbreakable bond between them because the oneness of the lion creates a separation. We can imagine the lion as Xian and the tamer as Yanzu. While she can be compassionate, helpful, and understanding towards him, there's still underlying differences that keeps them from truly connecting on a deeper level. That's why when we look at their mutual energy, it doesn't feel like a deeply connected bond. Instead, it's more like the energy of the wands, focus on the actions, getting things done, and staying in motion. Her next card for him is the Six of Pentacles. To me, the Six of Pentacles speaks about balance, give and take. It's about supporting each other. You support me, I'll support you. It's about collaboration and working together where both parties gain something from the relationship. I believe this is how Yanzu sees their connection, more in terms of career or co-worker dynamics. She likely values the collaboration and mutual benefit they share, but it feels more practical and focused on success rather than a deeply personal connection. Next, we have the Six of Swords. Wow, so many sixes for her. But I do feel like the six carries the same energy as the Eight of Cups in the first spread. I believe Yanzu has always seen Lixian as a comrade. I've mentioned the word comrade before. Two people who work together know they make a great team and stay on the same path as long as there's work to be done. They're in it together, focus on getting things done well, but this card also represents transformation. It's about moving toward calmer waters or a new direction. So there's a sense that now that their work is done, she's ready to move on to something else, to transition to a new phase. Next, we have the Death card. I don't ever see death as a bad card. In fact, I often like it because it represents transformation. Something new is on the horizon. It's about releasing the old to make space for the new. This theme of transition feels consistent throughout the spreads we've seen so far. For Yanzu, I sense it's simply time for her to let go of this particular phase in their relationship. She's ready to move on to whatever new chapter awaits. The appearance of death suggests a major shift. Their drama has been filmed, aired, and wrapped up. They're likely finished working together for now, unless they decide to collaborate on a new project. So this card is signaling that this phase is coming to an end. Lastly, we have the Page of Cups, which is very interesting here. Despite everything we've seen so far, whether it's the lack of deeper feelings or the professional nature of their connection, I do feel that Yanzu still genuinely enjoys Lixian's company, especially as a friend. The Page of Cups is like the energy of a child, bringing playful and light-hearted emotions. Even if there were frictions before or during the drama, I sense that Yanzu sees him as someone dear to her. She likely values him as a colleague she could work with again, especially if the collaboration benefits them both. I also feel that when working with him, she can tap into her creativity. It's like how actors and actresses who are familiar with each other can trigger that spark of creativity when they're on set. Despite whatever their personal dynamic might be, when they act together, there's a flow that brings out something special. I think Yanzu feels that way with Xian. He helps her bring that spark to life. But yeah, I hope I've made Yangzu's feelings clear. Now let's take a look at Xian's cards and see how he feels about this connection, or how he feels towards Yanzu. Alright, so the first card representing Xian's feelings towards this relationship is the Seven of Cups. This card usually indicates having a lot of choices, feeling like your head is in the clouds, or just being unsure about your emotion. I feel like for Xian, this reflects that he's uncertain about how he feels towards Yanzu. Now, I don't want to overstep. And remember, this is just a celebrity reading, but I've noticed a recurring pattern when I read for him in this relationship. His cards often seems less positive. There's always this sense of confusion or uncertain, or it feels like he's not really happy with the situation. The next card, the Five of Cups, also confirms this. It shows that Lisen has emotions towards Yanzu, but they're not necessarily positive one. It's more about loss emotion or being unsure of how to interpret his feelings. He might be focusing on the negative sides of those emotions, which isn't a healthy mindset. I wonder if there's a sense of oppression that Lisen often feels when working with Yanzu. Maybe it has something to do with how their management teams interact or how the entertainment industry handles them. Of course, we're not in that world, so we don't know what happens behind closed doors, but there's always this feeling that he has to constantly stand his ground. Perhaps this ties into the bickering or small conflicts we saw earlier in the first spread, especially with the Page of Swords, where there's that energy of defensiveness or guarding oneself. It's really interesting that both of them have drawn the death card. I do think that regardless of whatever is going on between them or behind the scenes, they're both moving on to new journeys. For now, at least, their relationship seems to be coming to an end with the death card. As for the long term, I wouldn't say they're completely done with each other, because can they even be done? They're in the same entertainment industry. Also, I don't sense any heavy feeling from her side, but in Lixian's spread, I do get the sense that he feels like he's done, at the very least for now. It feels like he's reached a point where he's really ready to move on. Perhaps that's what those choices in the first card, Seven of Cups, represent. He's ready to make a different choice in a different direction and work with different people. The Seven of Swords shows up again, this time for Lixian's feeling. This card is all about being rational, and while it can sometimes point to underhanded behavior, I mean, do you think there is some kind of misunderstanding between the two of them, or that he has these feelings because something was done to him behind the scene? I feel that this card also reflects on how he's not really there to express his emotions. Instead, he stayed guarded, which might explain some of the sadness or unfulfillment energy we see in the other cards. It's like he hides his feelings behind professionalism, focusing on the task at hand. So when he's working with Yanzu, he tries to be very focused, but once the work is done, he's ready to move on, not really giving room for emotional connection. Lastly, Two of Wands. I do feel like most of the cards in this reading align with each other, and they're very similar to last time, with each card simply clarifying the energy even more. This is the last card for this reading, and it suggests that Lisen is ready to move on to his next project. Maybe he's already planning it or choosing his next role, but it's clear he's looking ahead. Overall, I don't think their dynamic has changed much since last time. A lot of the cards reflect similar energies. This time, though, the sense of them moving on is more pronounced because their drama has already aired and wrapped up. They're more of a focus on transitioning to the next project. But aside from that, I believe their connection is still the same. It's a professional, comrade-like relationship that works well together, but that's where it ends. Outside of work, nothing else seems to be going on between them besides some kind of interesting oppression feeling that Xian has towards this relationship, but we would not know why that is the case. Unless you guys know, I don't know. I hope you enjoy this reading. Just a reminder that this is a celebrity reading for entertainment, so don't dwell too deep on it. After all, we don't live in their lives and can't know everything that's really going on. But yeah, that's it for now. So, well, you can still reach me via email. I wouldn't be accepting any readings until mid-February. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And of course, remember to thank the purchaser. Have a wonderful year of the snake and see you next time.